Hello, everybody. I wanted to provide an update. So happy to be back in Wisconsin, back with family. Amazing trip to Lebanon. The Middle East is everything I thought it would be and more. I mean, it was just, it, it was beautiful, but it was also difficult. I was away from Faith and the kids for almost a month. So, and the warfare, the spiritual warfare, whoo, yeah, next level what we're dealing with. But just a reminder and how important it is to stay close to Jesus and to have an intercessory team covering you, and also just to be truly in prayer. You know, um, this is no joke, but Lebanon was incredible. The area that we stayed at in the beginning was in Beirut, and we stayed with a YWAM team, so it was pretty cramped and crowded, but wonderful because we got to meet some of these young men and women. There was 11 of them that lived in the house with us. It's kind of a flat, and it was split, between men and women. There was 6 guys in our room. It was kind of wild having to be back on a bunk bed in a room with 6 snoring guys, but it was incredible. We saw the Lord move so mightily. We seen one of the girls in the team there. She was delivered, got set free from some demonic stuff that she was dealing with for years, and we just grew close to these young men and women. It was almost like the Lord was allowing me to have some young people there because I missed my kids so badly. So I felt like a dad to these kids, and our team just gelled so well. But we stayed in an area in Beirut, and totally different than I thought. There's certainly areas in Lebanon that can be dangerous, but no joke. I think 50 people got shot in Chicago last weekend or the week before that. So you can go any place and find a bad part. But there's definitely spiritual tension in the air, but the people are hungry, and it was so different than what we thought. We thought we were going there. We thought we were going to be doing a crusade. When we got there, things had changed. The finances that were supposed to come in didn't come in for the crusade director, and so then we just had to recalibrate and say, okay, what are we here for? Ask the Lord to set up meetings, set up connections, and he did. It was unbelievable. I mean, I briefly talked about in the newsletter, I typed it out, but I would just sit in meetings and go, how in the world am I sitting here with this person? Like when you saw how the Lord would open the doors, it was like we would hear a word from the Lord that, it's important to get in. We felt like the Syrian refugees in the northeast section of Lebanon were going to be a key to the salvation in this area. And it's just a word from the Lord. It's a prophetic word that we heard through numerous people, but the doors were closing and closing. And it was a little frustrating in the beginning, honestly. It was like, wait a minute here. So we thought we're doing a crusade in Beirut. That didn't happen. And then we thought we were doing a crusade towards the Syrian refugee camps, and that didn't happen. And then, so then you just have to stop and say, okay, God, we know you called us here, and there's a team here. We spent, thousands of dollars to get here. What do you want us to do? And then watching the Lord bring these connections with these people. I mean, mind-blowing. The people that we got to sit with, the leaders that we got to meet with. I mean, people from Korea, China, like we met some people that were pastored at the same church from Brother Yoon from the Heavenly Man. And, these men got to pray for me. And I literally was just like, my mind was just blown that I was sitting with these guys from this church. And these are radical people, man. Some of them go in and out of Syria, and they're like risking their lives. They've faced persecution like real persecution, not, oh, somebody talked bad about me, like, families tortured, people being in prison, beaten, threats of death, real persecution. And these people are just sitting there with the joy of the Lord on them. And the Lord drew them to Lebanon. And then we would run into them in the craziest places. And I mean, one guy was on a Zoom meeting with our leader, Ian and Helen. He had been on a Zoom meeting, and he's from Australia. He's a Korean guy from Australia. And they recognize each other, and we meet each other in a coffee shop in Lebanon. Another guy was, I'm trying to be careful here in what I say, because some of the stuff's really sensitive, but like, yeah, please talk to me about some of these stories. For you people that actually watch these updates, just talk to me about these things. It's killing me, but I don't want to put anybody's life in danger just because I want to tell you a cool story. But just sitting with these people and realizing how ridiculous it is, like some of the biggest leaders in all of Lebanon, some of the biggest leaders from churches from China, and you just use your imagination. We're sitting with them, and we're realizing the Lord is calling us to this place, and he's doing stuff. And we would be praying, the Lord would give us a word about getting into the Syrian refugee camps. Can't find a way. And then bang, all of a sudden we're sitting in front of somebody, and they're like, oh yeah, I have a school in the Syrian refugee camps. You can go tomorrow if you'd like. And you're like, like every door is shut, and then you pray, and next thing you know, you're sitting at a place that you didn't even line up to meet this person, and they come across you and they realize, oh my goodness, not only do I know you, but I knew you from my past. It was just bonkers. And our leader, Ian and Helen, they did such an amazing job dealing with the changes and being flexible to, you imagine, inviting people to come along on this trip. They spend, thousands of dollars of their own, most of our nonprofits, like even our nonprofit, we're nowhere near where we need to be funded. We don't even, it's pretty rare that I even get my salary. So this is all funded personally. And then we get there, and the crusade that, we talked about doing, that doesn't happen. And this leader, Ian, I just seen how the Lord used him, and he just had to trust God and had to be like, okay, we are called here for this season. What are we supposed to do? And then the Lord would open up these doors, and we would meet these people, and you could see how he was taking care of things, and how there was things that were going on in the church, the big church, that the timing was not correct if we were going to do that crusade. And then next thing you know, here we are, the Lord's opening the door for September, and the locations, the churches, the church support is now there. There's a unity. There was some division and fractions between some stuff going on in the church, because the devil is a little liar, and he's always getting in the middle of churches. But it's just so powerful to watch how, when you trust God and you just follow him to what he wants to do, it looks so much different than you expect, but it's amazing. As an evangelist, we wanted thousands of souls, but we seen 365, I think it was, is the total. But we seen so many people get healed. Seen probably 20 people get delivered from demons. I mean, for those of you that don't believe that, sorry. The Bible says these signs will follow those who believe. They will cast out demons. They will lay hands on the sick. This is nothing heretical. It may not line up with your denominational thinking, but I assure you there are so many people out there that are oppressed with demons, and the Lord wants us to go out and to help set them free. You know, I'm not the one that does it. He's the one that does it. I'm just, I just get to be there. and he uses us by his grace. But what an amazing trip. We're looking forward to, God willing, going back in September. This time we will be bringing the whole family, God willing. So we're trusting the Lord for the finances for that. And it's kind of a baby step journey that we're on right now. Right now we feel very strongly that this season here in Wisconsin, be growing our partner, our monthly partner support, which interestingly enough, the Lord wouldn't allow me to do before. You know, there's an excellent book called The God Ask, and it's you know, several people have done that to raise their funding, kind of like a missionary would. You know, you raise your funding and then you go out. That really is what makes sense. But the Lord had us kind of do it differently. And, you know, I believe part of that was so that I could see that he was a provider, because I know that if I would have went out and just hit the street and knocked on doors like a salesman, I would have seen the Lord's provision as my working. But so we're going to focus on raising monthly partner support. I'm trusting the Lord is going to show who I'm supposed to go to for that, churches, businesses, friends, family, that type thing. So answer your phone call when I call you. Don't blow me off, because I may just want to talk to you and not ask for your money. But yeah, so that's one of the things that we're doing. Yeah, there's just several things that the Lord has us doing. Our summer is going to look a lot different than it has in the past. You know, we do have some speaking engagements at churches. God willing, at our home church, that had to be switched around and we had to make some changes. But super excited going to, in September, I'm going to meet back up with the evangelist at Christ for All Nations for the first Evangelism Alliance Summit, because we really feel strongly that, you know, this calling of mass crusade evangelism is part of our lives. It's one of the main callings that's for our life. And so we want to make sure that we're staying in contact and nurturing the relationships with the team members, those fiery ones from Christ for All Nations. My goodness, what an honor it is to be able to even mention that, you know, these are brothers and sisters in mine that we run with in the harvest. And I can't even believe that I had the honor of being able to not only go through the school, but also to serve there. Wow. What a life, what an adventure life is when you say yes to Jesus. Yeah, so that's in September. We have some speaking engagements. We're firming some dates up now with pastors for some stuff that we're doing. It's likely we may be doing something in July, and we'll be gone probably 2-3 weeks in July for some ministry opportunities that we're firming up, and we're going to see also possibly some friends, and maybe even going all the way up to Canada, God willing, for ministry. Maybe sneak in a couple fish to go fishing there and visit with some friends. But the Lord is faithful, and he's guiding us along this journey. What I ask from you, and I learned this the hard way. Boy, did I learn this the hard way. Is your prayer support. I genuinely, I'm asking you to pray and ask the Lord if you should be an intercessor for our ministry. You know, when you go into places like this, any place really, but you know, when you go into a place that's predominantly Muslim, there's a lot of spiritual tension. You know, literally the enemy is tangible, it's palpable. You can see the effects that it has on your family life when you're not being intentional about prayer cover. And you know, the people that we went with, they went through some of the worst spiritual warfare that they'd ever been through, ever. And these people have been on the field for years and years. So all I'm asking from you is pray about it. And if the Lord's asking you to be a prayer intercessor with us, would you please reach out to us and let us know? We need to know who we have that actually prays, not the people that say, "Oh, I'll pray for you. Oh, I'm praying for you." And you know how that goes. Like, maybe they pray because I've done it myself. Oh, I'll pray for you. And maybe I pray a little bit. But I'm talking about intercessors, man. Like we need intercessors that are going to pray for our protection, pray for our cover. And we want to put together a WhatsApp group or a group on Signal or Telegram, some a platform that's more secure so that when we're out in the field and we need prayer, we need to do that. I mean, there were several times that the gentleman that I was with, they have prayer intercessor teams. And we were in the midst of some stuff in Lebanon, and they were able to send a thing out to their intercessors. Some of them, they have teams like that pray for them from around the world. And they just say, "We got this, blah 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 blah. We need your prayer." And then instantaneously you'd see, boom, whatever challenge, whatever struggle that we were dealing with, it would change by the power of prayer. So pray about it. See if you're supposed to be an intercessor for our team. And just pray that our family would continue to be obedient. The things, I feel like we're at this point where we're going into the next level, not only as a ministry, but also just spiritually. The Lord is bringing us into this place of like, all right, it's time to grow up. It is time to take this serious, and it's time to recognize the callings on our lives. And there's an urgency that we have that I've never felt before. This truly may be, the last days before the Lord returns. There's so many things going on in the world, the Abrahamic covenants that are going on in the Middle East, just this craziness in this world that we're living in. All the signs point to, this may be that last final harvest that the Lord is preparing. And our family, we feel called to be out on the front lines. And we're asking you, to partner with us, partner with our ministry so that we can go out and do what God is calling us to do. We have so much more planned. We want to be holding tent events throughout the United States, not just speaking at churches. Speaking at churches is wonderful, and there is a revivalist in me that likes to spur the church, wake the church up. But my heart is evangelism, man. I just love to watch the Lord save, heal, deliver, and we need partners that will help send us. So pray about that and be obedient. The Lord will bless you. I can assure you that the little bit of money that you invest in us, you will get back 100-fold in this life. And that's not just some sales technique. We're nowhere near where we need to be at with our monthly partners. And, that's part of, how the Lord had brought us on this journey. But he has been so faithful. And the finances that our family have personally sown into this ministry is just mind-boggling. But the return that we have got, not only, financially in the way that the Lord has taken care of us and the way and the Lord has blessed us, is just mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. I mean, I'm sitting here in this camper. I don't even understand how, we're at this place to where we're at a camper. We've got a truck. I have not worked at a secular job in 2+ years, and the Lord has paid our bills. Not only that, we operate in abundance, but we truly feel that this is the season for us to reach out to those around us and give you an opportunity to partner with us. One of the guys I was with, his name's Ian, and he quotes this, a lot, and I'm gonna read it to you. And I never really looked at it this way. It's in Matthew 6:19-21. It says, "Do not lay up for yourself treasures on earth where moth and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal." And he says, do not. And, I lost my mom in September of this last year. And, I lost my dad, a year or so prior to that. And I remember walking through their house and all these things that my dad and my mom worked so hard to accumulate stuff, right? Things, nice things. Like they worked so hard. My dad worked at a steel mill as an electrician and worked at the post office and worked at a water reclamation district. So he was a blue collar guy that busted his butt for our family so that we could have nice things and a nice life. He took us out of, an area in Chicago that wasn't the greatest when I was a little kid and brought us out to the suburbs, but they worked so hard. And here we were at the end of their lives. My mom had passed, and I was walking through and I was looking at all this stuff and I'm thinking, like, this means nothing. Like, this stuff means nothing. Like, most of it donated, given away, like, it means nothing. So when you see these things and you hear this thing saying, about sowing eternal seed, do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth where moth and rust destroy, where thieves break in and steal, but lay up yourself for treasures in heaven. This is not some sort of sales ploy. I want you to truly understand that our family is committed 100% to sharing the gospel and going wherever the Lord sends us. If that's Louisiana to do interim pastoring, then that's what we do. If that's to Lebanon, if that's to Iraq, if that's to wherever it is, I don't care if it's North Korea. I'm sincere as a heart attack. That's where we'll go. But our goal is to share the gospel. Because at the end of the day, when we stand before God, when we stand before Jesus, I assure you, the only thing that matters is eternal things. So all this stuff that we think is important, my 401k, my, all these things that, I can't give, because we're so concerned that we're not going to have enough. At the end of the day, like I said, when my mom passed, I can't tell you how many of these things. It was like my sister who did such a good job with, dealing with all of the, the stuff and the cleanup and all that stuff. It's like, who wants this stuff? Who wants this junk? Who wants this? Anybody want to take this? You want these tools? You want this? You want this? But when they stand before the Lord, my mom and dad, and I believe that, they're both in heaven, none of those things, none of those accomplishments mean anything. Souls and the crowns that we get to lay down at Jesus' feet, that's what means something. And bringing people to heaven with us. And that's the goal of our ministry. As many of you know, I was a drug addict, an alcoholic, a pornography addict. I was violent. I was completely lost. But in one instant, Jesus got a hold of me, saved me, set me free. So I understand the power of the gospel. And that's our heart. So we're sowing eternally at the cost of our lives. Our lives. I mean, this is work. Like this isn't vacation time when we're out in Lebanon. It's hot. It's dangerous. It's sweaty. You're doing the work of an evangelist. It's not like a fluffy YouTube video, where you see a drone footage of all this, these beautiful things. It's actual hard work in hard places, spiritual warfare, coming after you, coming after your family, all those things. But we're laying down our lives because we understand the value of sowing up eternal fruit. So what we're asking you is, what is your part? What are you supposed to be doing? What are you supposed to be doing in regards to partnering with our ministry? When you sow into this ministry, you will reap eternal fruit because we will see souls. Yes, this past trip, maybe we only seen 365 souls, but we see souls almost every single day. But this morning, the lady at the male lady almost gave her life to Jesus. The Lord healed her, and I'm sure she'll give her life to Jesus soon. But this is our life, is daily surrender to Jesus Christ with an evangelistic focus to store up fruit and to store up treasure in heaven, because that's really all that matters. So pray about it sincerely and sow into eternal things with us. You know us. We've proven ourselves faithful. You know, what we're living on is not some huge, you know, fund from His Son Ministries. Like this is all seed. We're just sowing, 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 sowing seed, and the Lord is abundantly blessing us because we're saying yes, and our focus is eternal things. So be a part of it. Yeah, I didn't know I was going to go there, but that's where I went. But so thank you for those that partner with us. Thank you for those that actually pray for us. I mean that. It's such a treasure to come back. Like you can tell, like when you come back, the people that prayed for you. You can tell the people that truly were like, you know, in the war zone with you. And I thank you for, you know, those people that really do pray for us, really do understand the cost that we're that it is to do this kind of thing. Because I can tell you, it's amazing, it's rewarding, but it's work. Like this is work, man. And but it's an honor. It really is. I'm not just I'm not just saying that. So yeah, God bless you. Man, I wish I had more time, but these videos are it's already 26 minutes into this, and it's hard to watch a video this long. But thank you guys. Lord, I just speak forth blessing, and I just pray right now in Jesus' name, Lord, that you'd speak to the people that are listening to this, and that you'd touch their hearts, Lord, and show them what their part is in sowing into this ministry, and show them, Lord, what you would have them to do. Help us all to just know what our part is to do in this this kingdom work. Bless these people, Lord. Bless those that are listening, that are praying, that are partnering with us, not in financially, and just in encouragement and being with us along this journey and praying for us. Bless those people, Lord. And yeah, just ask all this in Jesus' name. I love you guys so much, and I thank you. I hope we get to see some of you while we are in the States. Please reach out to us. The phone works both ways. We're crazy busy, but it's helpful if you can reach out to us, and then we can work together to see what we can get so we can see you. Love you guys so much. Thank you. And yeah, come spend some time with us so that we can tell you some of these stories. They're just bonkers. All right. Love you all. Bye-bye.